Welcome to Passion for the Pastime, where baseball lives 24/7, 365. Catch conversations with beat writers, broadcasters, current and former players of all levels. Now here's your host,
Walter Balsetta. Whoops, I fumbled. I got to get out of here.
Walter Balsetta.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Passion for the Pastime podcast. I'm your host, Walter Balsetta, ready to break it down for one full ass hour. We got a lot to get into. If you do follow and subscribe to Passion for the Pastime on YouTube, you saw the breaking news earlier with Max Fried getting that 8-year, $218 million contract with the Yankees. We'll talk about that. We'll break that all down. Buster Posey did speak at the winter meetings once again and shed some light on just how he's feeling about the roster a little bit. So we'll get into that as well. But everybody, welcome to Passion for the Pastime for day 2. This is day 2, and a lot is already going on, especially at the winter meetings. It will be concluding tomorrow. And Willy Adames, I mean, we can finally we kind of breathe a little bit, right? I mean, anytime you see some news break and you see it say pending physical, I think that just sends a shiver down everybody's spine because of everything that went down with Carlos Correa a couple of years ago. So yeah, pending physical, it's done. It's finished. It's signed and delivered. Willy Adames will be a San Francisco Giant with that contract. What was it? 7 years, $182 million. That's what the Giants will get him. And they have quite arguably is it the most expensive left side of the infield in baseball? It's definitely one of the best. That's what Buster Posey said today at the winter meeting. So we'll definitely get into that. The press conference will be carried live on KMBR at 11:30. So if you have interest in listening to all of that, the opening statements and all of that will be carried on 11:30 on KMBR on Thursday. Again, that is day of Thursday night football. We're going to have a special show on Thursday night. Might actually watch some of the football game with you guys. So crack open a beer or whatnot. But yeah, it's going to be really fun to talk baseball with you guys today. Again, Willy Adames, it is now just signed and delivered. It is official. He is a San Francisco Giant. No need to worry about pending physicals or anything else along those lines. But the big story of today is Max Fried. Max Fried signs that massive, lucrative deal. And I mean, man, when you look at all this money just being tossed around all over the damn place in baseball, it's ridiculous. It is crazy. I'm not saying that Max Fried isn't worth that type of money, but it's just a lot of money that's being tossed around. I mean, when you look at Max Fried, when you look at what Willy Adames, now the Giants are kind of like, this Willy Adames kid, this deal it's pretty good. I mean, when you're looking at all this money that is being thrown around at the winter meetings and just offseason and baseball in general, I mean, obviously Willy Adames doesn't compare in any neighborhood of the Juan Soto deal that was 15 years, $765 million. That is just incredible stuff. But yeah, so it looks like the Giants kind of the projections for Willy Adames were around that range, so they paid market price, which is a good sign. And maybe that is a sign for Buster Posey, who is now pulling the strings in San Francisco. Maybe that's a good sign moving forward with all these free agents, that he has that clout. He has that street cred that Farhan never had. He has that connectivity with all these players, and he knows how to close the deal, right? Because in years past, we've come to the realization that hitters in particularly, I mean, pitchers, they'll be willing to come here, and we'll talk about Max Fried and that deal and how that impacts the Giants. I want to get everybody's thoughts on Max Fried going to the Yankees and how everyone's feeling about that. But when you look to in years past, I mean, any type of hitter, it doesn't matter who it was. It doesn't matter if it was Jorge Soler, if it was Michael Conforto, Mitch Haniger, like it didn't matter who the Giants were bringing in. It always seemed that they needed to, like, there was the market price, and then there was the Giants price. You get what I'm saying? Because you always had to convince and overpay these bats to come to San Francisco. Now, with Buster Posey now being there and saying, hey, I've been there, done that. I know what you're going through. I know this ballpark like the backside of my hand. And that's a really, 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 really strong selling point, especially coming from Buster Posey, who has won 3 World Series championships in the past decade. So it's really telling just to see where they got Willy Adames at that dollar amount, because he was projected to be roughly around, I believe it was 178, 180 in that range. So yes, they did go a little bit above that, but we're not talking like 10, 15 million over like we've been accustomed to. And that's why they've missed out on all of these free agents in the past, right? Just Farhan just didn't have that killer instinct, didn't have that clout, didn't have that connectivity to all of these free agents like Buster Posey does. So I think that we could be really excited moving forward with this new regime with Buster Posey. And it's going to be really interesting to see how now the market shifts with Max Fried getting that deal. I mean, we all knew that the Yankees were going to go in on starting pitching, right? And it was just a matter of time, because earlier today I was getting ready to talk about why the Giants weren't included in the finalists for Max Fried, because yesterday Buster only put out a post, put out a tweet on X that the Giants would be a perfect fit for Max Fried. So, and that they're going to further their efforts in bringing in Max Fried. Then today, the news came out that it pretty much came down to the AL East. It came down to the Blue Jays, it came down to the Red Sox, and it came down to the Yankees. So, the curious thing for me is that we see that report coming from Buster Only, and this is where we get in between the weeds, right? We get in the weeds with the offseason talk. That's what you love about it, is there's so much strategy that we don't even see, like so much beneath the surface of what's going, because somebody told Buster Only to put that out there. Is that from the Giants in that, okay, let Corbin Burnes camp know that we're going after other guys, that we're going after Max Fried to maybe bring down that dollar amount because he's wanting this X amount of dollars. There's just so much strategy to it when it comes to the organization and when it comes to your agents. And if you have a good agent, most of the time the player is going to come out on top, or a little bit, kind of where their market gauge is, right? So just seeing that report with Buster Only, and then just to see today that the final Giants weren't included in it. So that's really interesting to see. And does that mean that the Giants have kicked the tires on Max Fried yesterday and they're solely focused on Corbin Burnes? Or are they kind of shifting gears to Roki Sasaki? I know that Buster Posey came out today, and we'll pull up some of the comments from Alex Pavlovich and Susan Slusser, Shayna Rubin, everyone down there at the winter meetings doing a fantastic job. Andrew Baggerly as well. But pretty much Buster was talking just glowing when they were talking about Roki Sasaki. And I know that is a little bit of a pipe dream. And Roki Sasaki's agent came out and spoke a little bit on the on just how the process is going to go with him finally posting and having that 45-day window going all the way to January 25th at 5 o'clock Pacific or Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when it's all done. And he has to sign with the major league team. And it was reported that major league teams will start to negotiate with Roki Sasaki. So just to hear everything that was being said about Roki, that, he prefers to be on the West Coast. He prefers to go to the Dodgers. He prefers to go somewhere with a Japanese influence with someone that can mentor him. And the agent came out, Joel Wolf is his name. I thought his name was John Wolf. John. Hello, John. Joel Wolf. He came out and just kind of, and again, it could be tactics, but just disputed all of that. He just denied every single one of those claims in saying that he wouldn't mind. He might actually prefer going to a smaller market with less media coverage. So it's really interesting, because you're seeing what all the news is being said about these guys, especially Roki Sasaki, because there's so much a highly touted talent out of Japan believe he's 23 years old, and coming into the States at this time in his developmental career, right? I mean, he's really young, but he's a phenom. He everybody's talking about him like he's the Nolan Ryan of Japanese pitching. So it's really incredible, and he's only 23 years old. So again, the winter meetings, there's all these rumors that swirl around, and you got to find out what's smoke. You got to find out what's real and what's tangible, and what's fake. And that's a big part of these winter meetings, right? So again, going back to Buster Posey's comments yesterday about Camilo Doval, and we'll get into all of this because the Giants, they're looking at pitching, right? I mean, if we're going to believe that their number one priority this offseason was pitching and defense, right? We've heard it from the Farhan camp, but it coming from Buster Posey, I think it carries a little bit more weight. So when you look at the Giants doubling down on that philosophy and that this is how you win in San Francisco, it's pitching and defense. Is their current pitching rotation, right? Is that good enough for the Giants to move forward into this next chapter, right? I mean, and I guess it also depends on, are you willing to, now we see what the dollar amount is. Max Fried got that 8-year, $218 million deal. You got to assume that dollar amount, Corbin Burnes is going to warrant more than that. Now, I think that it would be ridiculous if the Giants offered him, you know, a 7-year deal, 6-year deal, but he's probably wanting the years to be locked up as well in his contract negotiations. But if you're just looking at dollar amount and you're looking at what Max Fried got, you're assuming that Corbin Burnes is going to be somewhere around the same area, right? Is it worth to go out to pay that money? Again, it's not our money. We're that I'm not spending it, so I can spend everybody's money. I can spend other people's money easily. But when it comes to my money, I'm a little bit stingy. But when you look to the dollar amount for Corbin Burnes, are you willing to do that, or do you have that much belief? Because if you look at what Buster Posey has said at the winter meetings, he believes that Hayden Birdsong, that Kyle Harrison, and again, what is he going to say? I don't believe in those guys, right? I mean, is he supposed to trash them at the winter meetings? Absolutely not. And maybe, you know, those are potential trade pieces if we get into the conversation a little bit later. But when you look to the rest of this pitching rotation, when you look to not adding Corbin Burnes, you have Logan Webb, right? Can you rely on Robbie Ray to be that number 2, that Robin to the Batman of Logan Webb? Can you rely on Kyle Harrison taking that next step that we haven't seen? Can we believe that he will develop a secondary pitch? That's or an off-speed pitch, excuse me, a kill pitch. Can he develop that, right? Can he morph into the pitcher that we all believe that he can? He's still young in his development. We have to remember that he got drafted out of high school, out of De La Salle High School, and he made the jump to the big leagues, 3 seasons, 2.5 seasons into his development. So when you start looking at all of that, Robbie Ray, Kyle Harrison, and this is everybody outside of Logan Webb, because you know Logan Webb is going to be there. You know what he brings to the table. Are we going to believe in Jordan Hicks again? Like, is he in the rotation? I know that projections have had him go out there and pitch 130 innings. I think that's a bit high. I don't know if you're going to get 130 out of Jordan Hicks. I don't know if you need 130 out of Jordan Hicks, because there's other guys. You got Landon Roop that's coming onto the scene, right? And so I guess that's the question, and that's what you're weighing out is Corbin Burnes coming to the Giants vital for the longevity of success, or do you believe in this young crop of pitchers? I want to get your thoughts on that for sure. Everybody in the YouTube chat, I know we got everybody in here stopping by. Thank you all for coming by. It's a fun time, right? I didn't go as long as yesterday with my monologue. I went 25 minutes before I even said anything to the chat. So thank you guys for coming back. Only 15 minutes. I did I did a short Papa today. I did a short Greg Papa today, but I want to get everybody's thoughts on that because with Max Fried coming in or getting that contract, 8 years, $218 million with the New York Yankees. We'll talk about the fallout to that, but how does everybody feel about that dollar amount if you were to go get Corbin Burnes and maybe it costs you 300 mil, right? I mean, maybe that's what the dollar amount is. Maybe that's what Corbin Burnes is asking for. Was that something that is vital to the success of this team? Or, hey, did you see enough from these young guys last year with Kyle Harrison, with Hayden Birdsong? Hayden Birdsong was a fantastic story last year. Came out of nowhere. I know everyone was talking about him in spring training, and he just kind of burst onto the scene. And the storylines of spring training last year was Hayden Birdsong and Landon Root, right? And Landon Root was the first one to get that opportunity with that big curveball that he has. But then Hayden Birdsong just continued to showcase his talent in the minor leagues, right? So do you believe in the Giants' young pitching? Is that something that you can get behind, or do the Giants need to at all means? And maybe it's not Corbin Burnes, right? Because there's a lot of guys that are out there trade wise. I don't know if the Giants have the assets to pull off such trade, but we'll get into this. I'll give you some options as far as what the Giants can do. But I think for me, I love the stories. I love the young guys. I love to see the development. But for this Giants team to be successful, and also it comes to the question of, do you believe in the philosophy of pitching and defense, or do the Giants, they added Willy Adames. Does that do enough to put them in ball games for 162? Do they still need to add another bat? And what do you weigh that is more important? Are you leaning more towards the pitching that goes out there one every fifth day, or do you go to the everyday production of a position player to beef up that lineup? Because when you start looking, Willy Adames is great. Matt Chapman is great. Jung-Hoo Lee will still figure out, but he looked great. Tyler Fitzgerald, he's switching over to second base. We got to see what he can do. If he can bounce back into, or not bounce back, but if he can continue this momentum moving into his development. You got Elliot Ramos that showed flashes, but there was a long time period where Elliot Ramos, I mean, a lot of people kind of kicked tires on him. I remember shout out Mike Holler. We were just like, oh, Elliot Ramos. They're like, dude, nah, just trade him, just get rid of him. And then he goes on that fantastic run last year and makes the All-Star team, which was incredible stuff. But you never saw that coming from him. So again, they have a lot of young, talented players in their offense and in the pitching staff. But where do you see that the Giants need to improve? So let's go ahead and get into the YouTube chat. Thank you everybody for stopping by. We got Ernie Chavez in here. We got Wes. What's up, Wes? We were talking earlier on Papa and Silver in the YouTube chat. I'm always rolling around there, by the way. I may not respond to everybody, but I do see the comments during the show. I just got a lot of things going on, man. I'm like a freaking octopus in there, just answering the phones and making sure we're on air and making sure we're on the YouTube, which, by the way, I totally screwed up today. I told my guy, we're going to have Danny Dunn on later today. Danny Dunn, if you don't know, he worked with me for a good portion of time at KMBR. I want to say maybe 2 years on the show together with Papa and Lund. He was the board op and my co-producer. He made my job a lot easier. But today we played the Kyle Shanahan, and I didn't realize the Kyle Shanahan press conference, and I didn't realize that we weren't airing the audio on YouTube. So if you guys go back and track back to around close to the end of the show, like 1:30, 1:40, there was just maybe 5 to 6 minutes of just dead air on YouTube. So I apologize for that. I expect, or I accept full responsibility for that. But my guy Danny Dunn, we'll be talking to him at 6:30. He would be ashamed. He would be ashamed that I pulled that off today. But what's up, Wes? What's up, Ernie? Who else we got in here? We got Enrique. What's up, Enrique? Who else is in here? Rockin' New Era, of course. Hey, who was the first one in here, by the way? My guy first comment in here is Mike Val. And by the way, I got to shout out my girlfriend. I know you guys were talking about Rockin' New Era was the first one in here. She was in here first. We just gotta clear the air on that. It was so funny because we were talking about it, and she was like, "No, I was in there since the whole thing started, like at 5:20." So we're getting timestamps of when people were coming in to the YouTube chat. But what's up, Mike? Welcome to the chat, buddy. Enrique, the goats. Hell yeah, dude. 100%. Who else is in here? Wes, we got Rockin' New Era. What's up, Mike? Walt, yesterday you asked me what one player, it's got to be Burnes before Vlad, to entice him into making the handshake deal with us. He would re-sign, all predicated on if they are willing to deal. Yeah, of course. It's easier, obviously, to throw money, to throw dollar amounts at players than to acquire. And that's the thing too. We're gonna get into it. But I don't know what I know we have Marco Luciano and Bryce Eldridge. I think Bryce Eldridge is he the only guy that is like untouchable as far as trade assets, or does it like depend on who you're getting? You know what I mean? Because the one thing that I don't want the Giants to do is, especially with it's so tough because prospects, that's what they are. They're prospects. Like, you don't know what the hell they're going to be. But the one thing is, I can't stomach trading hitting prospects for pitching, because pitching will always come here, right? So if it's not Corbin Burnes, are you okay with it being guys in the secondary tier, right? We saw Nathan Eovaldi re-sign with the Rangers earlier today. But like guys in that tier, like, are you willing to bring back Sean Manaea? I mean, he had a good year with the Mets. There's tons of other guys in that category that we'll get into, but does it have to be Corbin Burnes? Like, are you that set on Corbin Burnes? Because I know the conversation for a long point of the offseason had been Corbin Burnes or Max Fried. Max Fried is now gone. So are you all in Corbin Burnes or bust? I want to know your thoughts on that as well, chat. But Mike Val, he's in here. Let's see what else is going on in the chat. Pat H, what's up, dude? I met Pat H at a brewery. I think it was one of the sad. I'm gonna shed a tear. I think it was one of the last shows that Tolbert and Copes did on their beer tours. I don't think it was the last one. It might have been. It might have been the last beer tour that they did in San Ramon. I think that might have been the last one. I don't know if there was maybe another one at Almanac afterwards with Tolbert and Copes, but yeah, Pat H, what's up, man? Good to see you in the chat. Let's see. I thought we were worried about 4 years for Burnes. Yeah, that's the thing, is you're not necessarily. I mean, 4 years kind of seems a bit much too, because what, Corbin Burnes is going into his year 30 season, so 4 years. You might have to do a fifth. You might have to do a fifth or a sixth, honestly, to get that deal done, because you start looking at what Max Fried got. I mean, he got eight years. That is insane. That is crazy. I wouldn't give 8 years for Corbin Burnes. Would you give 15? Here's the other thing. I don't even know if you can, but would you give 15 years for Roki Sasaki? Would you do that? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if that's possible. International signings, I don't know how long you can go, what the length of time is. But even if you go 7 years, like you get him until he's 30, until he's 31. I don't know. I mean, yeah, you want to do that, but I don't know if Roki's looking for that. Like, he might want 10 years, go to 33 with maybe like opt-outs. I don't know how to construct deals. I'm not an agent, clearly, or else I wouldn't be on YouTube. Hello, John. Yes, hello, John. Rockin' New Era. What's up, dude? What else we got going on here? Burnes experience. Sasaki is 23, super young. Yes. Lori, he is. That's why he's so enticing to come to the Giants. Anywhere else but the Dodgers. Like, that's the other thing too. You love that the Giants brought Willy Adames. You love that. You love that aspect because he's on your team, but that he's not down south, that he's not wearing Dodger blue. And that's the other thing when you look at all these other guys too, with Corbin Burnes and and with Roki Sasaki. You just don't want them in Los Angeles. They don't need the help. But do you overpay to block them in that aspect? Can we please let Doval go and get a reliable closer? See, and that's the thing too. He is an asset that playoff teams would love. And the last time I looked, I didn't think that Camilo Doval was doing too well in winter ball. I'd have to go back and look, but I thought that his walk numbers were a lot higher than expected. But the talent is there. And Buster Posey did speak to that and said that, he likes his stuff. And obviously you got to trust Buster Posey because he caught him. He caught Camilo Doval when he was 27 years old. So I would assume that Buster would know, especially having that core four induction and just looking at all the bullpens that the San Francisco Giants have had over the years. And Buster knows his stuff. He knows how guys can pass the eye test. And from what he's saying at the winter meetings, take it for what it's worth. But he's saying he loves Camilo Doval. Now, he would garner a lot of value if you go into the season. He has a great first half, and then you flip him if the Giants aren't a playoff team. So I don't think that the deal would get done now, Lori, but at some point you can expect Camilo Doval to get traded 100%. Fake news is fake. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Mike. Thank you. Thank you for that. Can we spend Walter's money? What money, Rocket New Era? There's no money to be spent. What are you talking about? Why do you think I never go out to the bars with you guys? I ain't got no money. Unless JD has a tab open. Got to do that. Tacky's in here. Tacky, I can't put that word on here. Come on, bro. What are you doing? What's up, Tacky? Walter has money? Yes. Thank you. No, I don't. I don't have money. Oh, man. Let's see what Wes has to say about Jordan Hicks. Hicks has to be on the same rotation as last year. Hicks in the bullpen late in the season is awesome. Yeah, if his arm doesn't fall off by then, 100%. I agree with you, Wes. But as a full 162 rotational piece, I mean, but that's the thing. Like, would you rather have him in? Because his first 9 starts, he had like a 1.3 ERA or something like that, something crazy. Strikeouts just through the roof. Then it started to tail off because he stopped going for the strikeouts. He started pitching to contact more with that sinker, and then things just his arm fatigue, man. Like, he's starting for the first time in his career, and it just didn't go good. So I don't know. Hopefully the Giants can get him on some type of regiment to get his arm strength up to make him last for longer than he did. And maybe they are. Maybe that's why the projections are at 130. I just don't see it. I just don't see him putting out 130 innings. But would you rather have him in there? Because he can dial it up, man. We've seen it. He can dial up triple digits like it's nothing. Would you rather have him in the bullpen? Especially if you are able to get Corbin Burnes or some other starter to throw in the rotation. So I think he's more valuable out of the pen than a starter. But sure, yeah, a spot starter like that wouldn't be bad. Like have him designated as a 6th starter if something goes down. I like that. I like that idea. 300 mil. We're talking about Corbin Burnes. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's insane. Insane stuff. Lucrative money just being tossed around. See what Mike Val had to say. What's up, Mike? I'm happy the Yankees spent on Fried. No doubt they doubled down on pitching. Red Sox might have an offer for Burnes out there. Fried would have been nice because of pedigree. Atlanta puts them out there. Yeah, no, for sure. That's the big thing. I mean, when you look to all the ramifications of what has gone down with the Max Fried deal, again, he signed that 8-year, $218 million deal with the Yankees. What that does, I mean, it takes Fried off the board, and I know that picking between the two would be fantastic. Takes him off the board, but it also takes the Yankees off the board. But you have to be cognizant. You got to know. You got to know all these other teams that were in on Max Fried, right? I mean, you got to look at the Red Sox. You got to look to the Rangers, who were looking at potentially, but the Rangers jumped on Eovaldi, so maybe that's the other thing too, is if the Giants are in on Burnes and they're in on Roki Sasaki, and we know that Roki Sasaki isn't going to sign until January. Corbin Burnes can potentially sign if he hasn't signed by now. I haven't had my notifications up, but Corbin Burnes could potentially sign by the end of this week, by the end of winter meetings, by the end of tomorrow night. He could sign. So then you're putting, like, if you're the Giants, do you put all your eggs in one basket? Are you trying your damnedest to get Corbin Burnes, or do you go the route of the Texas Rangers? They got Nathan Eovaldi and then all these other guys that are available. Like, do you look at a Sean Manaea? Do you look at a Walker Buehler? Do you want to entertain a Max Scherzer, a Justin Verlander? I mean, that's the next tier of starters, obviously, that can be had. But I mean, we've seen it before, either opponents or just guys coming in as reclamation projects for the Giants. Pitchers can pitch at Oracle Park if they're mediocre. Like that's the crazy thing, is that ballpark makes average pitchers look like all-stars. I mean, that is just what you get with Oracle Park, and that it has to be that's the big selling point for pitchers wanting to come to San Francisco. So yeah. Tacky, we got to stop talking shit about Walter in the chat. Are you talking about now, Tacky, or are you talking about during 10 to 2? I see everything, baby. I see everything. You guys crack me up, by the way. I swear, man. If I want to do a segment that is just like dedicated to the YouTube chat. I tried to do that with Ask Papa a couple of months ago. And Tacky, I got to get that question in there, man, about the burrito. Could what was it? Could Jesus microwave a burrito hot enough that he couldn't eat, or something like that? What was it? Was it that Jesus can eat, or is it that Papa can eat? Gotta get clarification on that, Tacky. Going through all these all these comments. You guys are the best, man. You guys are the best, 100%. But I see my guy, Danny Dunn. You guys are going to love, if you guys don't know who Danny Dunn is, you guys are going to love him. Just a huge teddy bear. I see his beard just coming in, man. Yeah. Tap the beard, Danny. You guys are like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, I can see him in the waiting list, or the waiting room. He's in the green room right now, getting that beard all oiled up. But let's go to Danny Dunn, my guy from KMBR, co-producer for Papa and Lund, and we're gonna bring him in. He's a huge Giants fan, so I can't wait to talk to Danny. 100%. This is my guy. My girlfriend called him my work wife. Danny, how do you feel about that?
Thanks for that introduction, Walter. I really appreciate it. Only episode 2 of the reboot, and you're already scraping the bottom of the barrel for guests here.
Oh, dude, yeah, man. I couldn't get Lasky, I couldn't get Marty, I couldn't get Carrie. I had to go with you. I even tried Eric before you, Danny.
Oh, yeah. He's probably skiing somewhere right now. So
he is skiing somewhere. Did you know that, or are you just guessing?
No, I know that he begged me to go with him. I was like, Eric, I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to go to the snow with you.
Yeah, no. Remember the last time he broke his leg? So no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, man. Well, Danny, thank you for coming onto the pod. I mean, this is kind of what we're going to be doing, guys. I mean, it's me. It's not Marty and friends. But we're going to be hanging out with everybody. We're going to have Danny Dunn on occasionally. We're going to talk ball. And anybody else that's in the YouTube chat, because I'm cool with you guys. Like Tacky, if you want to come on, bro, just shoot me your email. I'll send you an invitation. We'll get like I don't know what the limit is, but we can get, like, I don't know, how many people can we get on here? Like 4 at a time?
More than OBS, that's for sure.
Yeah, more than OBS. It's much easier. We'll just have a good time, man. That's what we're doing here on the podcast. And Danny, love you to be the first guest on Passion for the Pastime YouTube reboots, man. But yeah, Danny Dunn used to work with me at KMBR. He's no longer there because shit is stupid. But you know, it is what it is, and we would always, dude, Danny.
Yeah,
you need to own up on your bet, bro.
Ooh, yeah, I still owe you what 8-9 beers for the pathetic way the Giants.
I don't know.
finished the season last year.
Somebody look it up. Rockin' New Era, Tacky. I need you guys to get on the keyboards. Let me know how many games the Giants finished out of a playoff spot from the wild card, because me and Danny bet. I forget when it was.
Our original bet was a lot better, and then I fell down the rabbit hole of going double or nothing with you with that.
Well, yeah. The original bet was that it was that tough stretch of games, right? And I said the Giants needed to go like 17-5 or something like that, or 18-6.
It wasn't the worst part of their schedule though, because you saw a couple of A's series in there, and then you also saw a couple of White Sox games. So I was like,
yeah, the White Sox,
they could sneak out a few of these. I think I have a pretty good shot. And then, yeah, they fell flat on their face. I knew they were going to lose a game to Oakland, and
they self-destructed, man. So that was their original bet. You lost that, and then just to keep it fun down the stretch of the season, I was just like, all right, Danny, we could double down, and if the Giants finish whatever they fit, because I knew they weren't going to make the playoffs. You were optimistic, but I said if the Giants don't make the playoffs, you have to give me the amount of beers that they finish out of a playoff spot, and I want to say that it was 8 or 9. Game. We have Tacky answering in here. It was 9 games. That's what and Tacky would not tell a lie, Danny.
So I owe you 9 beers. Ugh, that's gonna be tough. We go on like Dollar Thursday or something, and
we can go Dollar Thursday, or we can just like we can up it to IPAs, and we can cut it in half. You can give me like what 5 IPAs. How about that?
Or
I'm a man of the people.
You did ask me before if I bought you lunch, then that suffices to 1 beer.
Yes, a lunch would knock off a beer. Yes, it would.
Yeah. Depending on what you got, if you got a $15 Lou's sandwich, we gotta be talking 2 beers off.
Dude, I haven't had Lou's since you left. Actually, I need to go get a Lou's. You can see I'm losing weight.
You need to go to Taco El Fuego. Come on.
I've lost like 10 pounds since you left, Danny. We used to get lunch together all the time.
I was gonna say you look pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. I wish I could say the same about you, Danny. Well, nah, dude, I fucking love you, Danny.
Where's your soundboard?
Yeah, I got it here. I don't know what I have on here. I have a whole bunch of stuff that I've downloaded. I have no clue what is on here. But Danny, let's get into baseball, man, because we're always talking ball. You're one of the biggest Giants fans that I know. And Max Fried signed that lucrative deal with the Yankees, 8 years. $218 million. You got to expect that Corbin Burnes is going to make more than that. But are you a little bit? How are you feeling about that Max Fried deal? Because I know that he was kind of in the conversation with the Giants in potentially coming in here to be that replacement for Blake Snell. So how are you feeling about him leaving to the Yankees, and what the Giants' chances are in kind of the free agent market when it comes to starting pitching?
Yeah, well, it kind of sucked to see that Max Fried was immediately off the table after, just 24, 48 hours after he was linked to the Giants as one of the finalists for him.
Yeah, but Buster only put that out there, man. Yeah, that was crazy.
And it was kind of exciting too, just because it was like, okay, the Giants just signed a shortstop and now linked to a pitcher. It's like in years past, you would have been like, yeah, okay, they're in on Max Fried. Yeah, right. They've been in on every free agent this offseason and couldn't get anyone. But this year, when they actually signed somebody, you're like, okay, now they can go out and get a pitcher and they'll be set. So it's a little bit of a bummer that the list is kind of shrinking in front of us for available starting pitching, but I still expect that they go out and pursue one of the remaining guys left hard.
So of the guys that are remaining, right? I mean, you look at what Max Fried got. You would assume that Corbin Burnes would probably garner more money. I don't know about the years, but you would think that I haven't even done the math of what the AAV is for Max Fried, but just quick math, what, 218 for 8 years? What is that? About 30? No. Yeah, 30? No, like 26. Is that 26 mil? Is it off the dome? I have no idea. But anyways,
we weren't it's fine.
Yeah, no, I didn't. It took me like 4 years to graduate algebra 1. Okay, so that's just how I am with math. But you look at that dollar amount, do you think that the Giants would be better served going to the next tier of pitchers, or do you want them to go all in on a Roki Sasaki, on a Corbin Burnes?
I think that I would rather, and this is going back to one of your points that you had earlier, I would rather they spend that money on multiple starting pitchers in free agency, because like you said, Oracle Park takes the average MLB pitcher and makes him sort of an elite pitcher. I mean, how many times have other teams come in with their guys coming up where it's like, this guy has a 7.58 ERA, and then he mows down the Giants for 6 1/3, 10 strikeouts, no walks, gets a W,
Yeah.
So I would rather have a couple of minor or, lesser guys like a Sean Manaea, for example. Not that he's bad or anything, but he would probably garner less on the open market than the top tier guys.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. And what's funny is that you talk about other pitchers coming in, and there's just you can probably count on one, not even one hand, but you can kind of remember all the pitchers like Kyle Hendricks coming in and just shutting down the Giants and taking a no hitter into the ninth inning. I remember I was out there with Copes. I don't think it was last year. I think it was 2 years ago. But I was out there in the beer garden, and we realized in the fifth inning, or no, it was a sixth inning, that Kyle Hendricks had a no hitter going, and then me and Coach were just like, "Dude, what the hell's going on?" And then we started watching the last like 9 outs, and then he ends up losing it, and I was pissed because I was like, I was gonna experience my first no hitter ever in history, but yeah, man, like, is that attributed to the ballpark? Is that attributed to the Giants? Their lack of offense, right? So then that's the other catch to this, because we're so focused on the Giants bringing in pitchers, right? And we've heard the mantra over and over and over, whether it's Farhan Zaidi, whether it's Buster Posey, it means different coming from Buster because he was from the championship era, right? Like if Buster Posey or if Hunter Pence or anybody from those championship teams were to say something, a direction of a team or a winning formula, you'd want to believe it because they know what it takes to get to that mountaintop, right? So if we're going on the pitching and defense mantra, I mean, would you prioritize bringing in those pitchers? Do you have belief in these young pitchers for the Giants, or do you want them to go and put their efforts forward in improving the offense? Because Willy Adames, that's a huge, and I got to get your thoughts on that, but really quick, with Willy Adames coming in here, that's a huge addition to the Giants and fills a void of power that the Giants have not had for quite some time. But is that enough? Does that make them a relevant enough team in the offensive category to where they can put up maybe if they get another guy in the lineup, that they can put up a bunch of runs to where their young pitching that's coming up in the farm system, that you have the Kyle Harrisons, the Hayden Birdsongs, and of that crop, that they don't have to go out there and be a Logan Webb ace type guy. They just have to be that middle of the road average to above average pitcher that you get by pitching at Oracle Park.
I still think that they need to go out and get a couple of pitchers, because I don't think that we saw enough from the younger crop of guys last year to go into this year with only Logan Webb and Robbie Ray as your bona fide starters in the rotation. And frankly, I don't think we've seen enough of Robbie Ray yet to say that he's just locked into the number 2 spot in the rotation, or 3, depending on if they get someone else or not. I think that you can get away with the offense the way that it is currently constructed. You would obviously need things to go right for that to, be the case. But I'm fine with the lineup the way it is right now. The Adames was a huge ad. I didn't think that they were going to get it. I thought we were just going to get the exact same stuff that we got last year with like a mix of Fitzgerald and Luciano at shortstop.
Right.
Or maybe they go after Ha-Sung Kim, I mean, they could still do that. They could still go out and try to get him as like a utility infielder / second baseman, maybe compete with Tyler Fitzgerald, because Tyler Fitzgerald's not even a bona fide guy yet. He had a great start to the season. I don't know where all that power came from. Maybe it was when the
Colorado. Yeah.
I was going to say when the balls were juiced in the middle of the season, but
or that too, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm okay with the lineup the way it is now. But I was sick of seeing bullpen games last year. I thought we were done with that after Gabe Kapler left, and just out of sheer necessity, they needed to do it again this past season. And I was, mid-season, you and I were just baffled every time we'd have a Giants day game that interrupted Papa in London. We're like, wait, Ryan Walker's on the hill? Wait, Spencer Bivens is going? What's going on here?
Yeah,
So
it was. And you bring up a good, interesting point, because I think that I'm hopeful, right, with Buster Posey now in here, and you got a bunch of baseball guys around him, that I am hopeful that the days of having bullpen games, that it's over. Like we saw, and not only with the Giants, but in baseball in general, right? I mean, bullpen games were becoming the norm, and I find it disgusting. I cannot stand bullpen games, but I'm hoping, because I mean, again, why it's shifted across all of Major League Baseball is because of the analytics, right? And now that the analytics, they were in the front of the clubhouse when you walk in on the left hand side. Now they're kicked to the back, like they're we don't want to see you. That doesn't want to be the first thing that you see when you walk into the clubhouse. Right. So with that mentality, I'm just hoping that you get back to a little bit of the old school that we did experience while we were growing up. I know that things have changed because of analytics, and if there has to be a bullpen game or a spot starter, I think, because we were talking about it earlier with Jordan Hicks, because I was talking about the rotation. I think that would be a good spot for him. You're right. I mean, he doesn't have to pitch every fifth day. Maybe he pitches every 10, once every 2 weeks, but then you have him available in high leverage situations out of the bullpen, right? Because he's one of those guys that you can do that with. So I want to see how the culture shifts away from the bullpen games, because, it's just, I don't think that is a formula for winning baseball. I think that's a formula for, middle of the road teams. And if that continues, I just don't know how successful the Giants would be moving forward. But you were talking about the offense, right? And we were looking at Willy Adames. He signed that deal with the Giants, 7 years, $182 million. And after, what Max Fried is getting and what Juan Soto is getting, I mean, it looks like a bargain, right? I mean, we give Farhan so much crap about being a bargain shopper, but this looks like a true bargain right now, as it sits currently. And then we'll have to see what Anthony Santander and Teoscar Hernandez end up getting, but you would assume that it's going to be a little bit less than what Willy Adames got, because Willy Adames was quite arguably the second best position player out there in free agency, and the Giants were able to do that. But tell me what you think about this signing with Willy Adames, because for me, it kind of just proved that Buster Posey, because I was very skeptical. When all this happened. Yep. Me and you talked about it behind the scenes. I did not think that this was going to go down the way that it has so far. I thought that it was a PR move that fans could love because it's Buster Posey. But now that we're seeing, that they're in on Corbin Burnes, that they got a deal done, that they didn't wait for the domino to fall with Juan Soto. I think that's why it was so huge, because they didn't wait for that to happen and have that price tag go up on Willy Adames. They said, nope, I see you, Juan Soto. We're not going to go that route. And we're going to go with someone that is more realistic, that fits our team, that fits our philosophy, and that is Willy Adames. So how do you feel about that whole dynamic and how it all went down with Willy Adames coming to the Giants?
Yeah, it finally feels like the Giants are a destination organization again, whereas it seemed like a couple of years ago, they had a few years ago, they had the 107 win season. Then going into 2022, they just felt like a machine more than a baseball club, and they're kind of getting rid of that now. They got rid of Gabe Kapler. So that was step one in getting guys to want to come play for you. Bob Melvin was a good signing as manager. And 2024, you get rid of Farhan. So now Buster Posey is the head of the franchise. And so people are taking stock in that and saying, hey, this is a place that gets it. They get what's not working, and they want to start doing things that are working. And I think the Adames signing is great. The Chapman signing was really the first one that kicked it down, where they gave him the 5-year extension or 6-year, whatever it was. And guys were like, okay, the Giants are for real. And maybe, who knows, maybe Adames is the one that Chapman was talking about in his press conference, where he's like, guys actually want to come play here. You're just knowing that I signed here. And it's like, okay, buddy, calm down.
Yeah, like, all right, calm down, Matt. Calm down, Chappie. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're telling me Christian Walker wants to come here too, but now we're getting somewhere. But.
Oh man, yeah, no, we're talking with Danny Dunn, my right hand for how long do we work together, man, at KMBR? I mean, like on the show, because I know we've been together since like 2000 or 2020, I think is when I officially made the shift over to programming at the station, and you were there prior to me, right? But when did you start working on Papa and Lund?
Yeah, so I don't think I remember you from promotions. I think I just met you when you started working in programming back in November of 2020. God, where does the time go, Walt?
Jesus.
I started working part-time on Papa and Lund in like the beginning of 2021 when Lights Boy moved to Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
But Mike Holler moved into management position in like November of 2022. So yeah, we got a damn near a solid 2 years out of it together, working on the show every day.
I think you're right, man, because November 2022, because I started officially booking every single day, 5 days a week with Papa and Lund in June of 2022, but I was doing it on a part-time basis from late in 2021, right? Like 2 or 3 days a week. And then I got all pissed because Mike was leaving me after like 4 months. I'm just like, dude, you SOB, you son of a bitch. Like you're leaving me. But then you came in and it was as if nothing changed. You actually made the show better.
God, well, thank you. And that's we're always happy to hear that. I wanted to give you a side note just because I was listening to a little of you coming in.
Yeah.
Camilo Doval in the fall league's not looking great. Like you were saying,
it's not right.
5.68 ERA, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 6 walks, 3 saves.
3 saves, hell yeah! Wait, how many walks?
6.
6.
6 and 6 1/3.
Oh God, yeah, that's not great. I mean, that's kind of on par for him though. Like that's what he does. That's what we come to expect.
Call me crazy, but I think that he can still be an asset to the team. I think that they can move him going forward. And that's actually what I'd be more interested in, because the offense, like we were talking about, is not perfect at the moment. But I would much rather go into the season needing a bat than needing an arm.
Yeah,
because usually the arms that are available at the deadline are guys that are going to be gone in a year or two. Otherwise, the asking price is way too steep. So I'd rather go after, like I think you were interacting with one of the texters in where you're like, maybe we throw something at Toronto for Vlad Jr. I know you already have his jersey, so it's
oh dude, I got my jersey in the closet. I got the bobblehead right here. This is Team Vlad, dude. You can't see it right now, but you see my autographed balls right here. Oh, right over here.
Mm-hmm.
This one right there, that's Vlad Sr. And then to the other side of it, that way, I can't do it, but pretty much right next to it, it's the Vlad party. It's Vlad Sr. and Vlad Jr. I'm a huge fan of the Guerreros. Like Eddie Guerrero, like Vladimir Guerrero, like Vladdy Jr. I mean, I just like the Guerreros, man.
Maybe one day you can get them to sign the same ball. I don't know.
Well, but I have both of them individually.
Yeah, then you can get them on the same ball as well. It's fine.
All right. Well, maybe I could do that. Lisa Guerrero. I don't know who Lisa Guerrero is. You know who that is?
Is that Mrs. Guerrero?
Maybe, I don't know. I haven't kept up with the Guerreros.
Keeping up with the Guerreros.
Yeah, keeping up with the Guerreros. I'm gonna go over to the chat really quick. Rocket New Era. This was early on in our conversation about damn Danny, we've been talking for 20 minutes. Like it's nothing. Yeah. Never skip a beat. You having Danny pay when he was just let go, shaking my head. No, you got to honor the bet.
I'm second in that Rockin' New Era.
No, you got to honor the bet, bro. You got to honor the bet. I don't give a damn if you're unemployed.
Oh, I got a recent one from Rockin' New Era. He says, Lisa Guerrero's a reporter, used to do sports. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the, you know what? That name sounds familiar. I had to look it up. The reporter that used to do sports. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. What else we got? I had one from Lori that wanted to ask you a question. Oh, here it is. Who, and I don't know if it was directed at you or if it was just straight up to the chat, but who's your favorite Giants player at this moment, Danny?
Favorite Giants player at the moment? Probably Logan Webb, just off the top. If you had to,
it's got to be Logan, right?
If you had to go, who do I like listening to pre and post? Who do I enjoy when I get to see them play
right
when he gets to play? I don't know. Chapman brought me a lot of joy last year, but he's only been with the team one season. I mean, the way this team was constructed, he's damn near my favorite player because already. But who else? I guess Ramos.
Yeah, Elliot Ramos is a good one too. A lot of and that's the thing that kind of excites you because now you have a lot of pitches or a lot of picks. Yeah, Jesus, I don't know what the hell.
Well, you know what's funny? I don't know if you remember our conversation before this past season started, but we were going over the roster, and weren't we saying like it was like going into the season, it was damn near better than the 10, 12, and 14 Giants?
Yeah, that was such a bad take. Now, thanks for putting that out there, Danny. Jesus.
Yeah, well,
I told you that in confidence.
We'll have to do one where we reevaluate that.
Well, you know what's funny is because I told you that in the bullpen, but I think I did take it to air on one of the. I don't know if I did it on Rounding Third and King on KNBR on the weekends or if I did it on the Giants warm up show. To start the season, maybe like during spring training. But yeah, what a bad take. Wow. I forgot that I said that. Thank you.
Well, because I was just jotting down the roster today and I'm like, this is not that different from last year. What the hell were we thinking? Like,
yeah, no, man, it's bad. It's bad. So we're of the consensus that Giants need pitching. They need to get some pitching in there. Maybe another bat, that'd be nice. Maybe at first base because Lamont Wade Jr. I mean, you either hate him or you love him. I love what he does, but not for the position for that productivity for a first baseman, right? I mean, if he was a second baseman, like what he does would be fantastic. You know what I mean? But he's not that, and that's the reality of it. So I don't know what you do in that position. That's why I've been clamoring for Vlad Jr. this whole time. But maybe it's a Pete Alonso, right? I mean, maybe it's a Christian Walker. I mean, I don't know what direction the Giants are going to go, but as of right now, right, you have the pitching rotation with Robbie Ray, with Logan Webb, with Kyle Harrison, Landon Roop, and who else? Oh, Jordan Hicks, Hayden Birdsong, right? That's six guys. And you look to the what's up?
I think you had Keaton Wynn in there earlier too.
Keaton Wynn is somewhere in the conversation. Mason Black as well. Tristan Beck. I mean, you still got all those guys also. So they're about 8 guys deep, and I don't know if you want to rely on some of the latter bunch. But you look at that rotation, and then you look to the lineup with now Willy Adames. Do you feel that the Giants are 1, 2, 3 moves away from being a competitive team? Do you think that they've gotten better from last year already because of the add of Willy Adames? How do you feel about the offseason so far? I know it's early, but how you feeling?
Yeah, it's hard to get rid of Blake Snell and say you're a better team. Off the top. I think they're still a move or two away from being a contender for that one of those top wild card teams. Yeah. I'm just throwing the division out because the Dodgers can just pay people in 2035 and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Why the rest of MLB can't do that, I don't know. But apparently the rule only applies to the Dodgers. But yeah, I mean, to seriously contend, I do think they need to upgrade at first base at some point during the season. Outfield is still a question mark. Outside of Ramos, I think across the board still. I mean, Jung-Hoo Lee showed flashes last year as a good defensive center fielder. He was okay on offense. Hell of an ovation at Oracle Park, though. I loved that. That was one of my favorite parts of going to see his games.
Yeah.
And then in right field, you still got Yaz and / Matos / whoever could maybe take the reins. I don't think that Bryce Elders is ready yet, but I think you need to improve in those places. And then also, like you said, the middle of the lineup, if you're going into the season right now with Encarnacion as your DH, I mean, I don't think you're going many places. I mean, I think who was it? Eric Caro said it best the other year when he's like, man, he's like, no offense to Wilmer Flores, but if that's who you got batting cleanup,
Oh, man. Yeah, seriously.
And then, I think just maybe another arm or two away from solidifying that rotation. Cause I like Harrison. Birdsong definitely showed glimpses. I feel like every time I looked up, though, he was pitching in Colorado. So I was like, all right, can we skip his start there this year and just see what he could do at normal altitude, and then we'll revisit that.
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. I don't think the Giants are done. I think that there is another move. I'm hopeful that it's Corbin Burnes, but I do think that they need to address the starting rotation. Because like you mentioned, I mean, we can't discount. I mean, he went to the Dodgers, but we can't discount what Blake Snell, even though he only pitched half the year, can't discount what he did and how effective he was. And you gotta substitute that. Like, you have to replace the production, regardless if it was half a season or not. You have to get someone in there to kind of take the relief off of Logan Webb a little bit. Kyle Harrison, he needs to take strides forward. I think that he was okay, but he didn't take that huge leap like the Giants and like the fan base were expecting for Kyle Harrison. Hayden Birdsong is a great story. We'll have to see how he adjusts because, I mean, teams didn't have tape on him, right? I mean, and it's easy to dominate when I wouldn't say it's easy to dominate, but it's a lot easier when guys don't know what kind of stuff you have. That they don't know your tendencies. They don't know when you're tipping a pitch, right? Now there's film on him. Now there's a second year, and there's a such thing as a sophomore slump, right? And that goes for a lot of these guys. Like, I don't know if Jung-Hoo Lee kind of falls under that category because he only got a third of the season, or a fourth of the season, rather. But Elliot Ramos, he's going to have a potential sophomore slump. Tyler Fitzgerald, sophomore slump. I mean, there's a lot of guys that there's going to be film on them. There's going to be a plan of attack that you can kind of see what they were doing with Elliot Ramos. They were just throwing him, and Tyler Fitzgerald, they were just throwing him balls, and they were just swinging. They had zero plate discipline. So that's going to be something to watch going into next year. But yeah, man, going back to what the Giants need, Rock a New Era chiming in on the YouTube chat, need a number one starter. I don't know if you need a number one starter, but you need a 1A. You need a 1B, right? To Logan Webb. And I think that's what you get with Corbin Burnes.
I wouldn't even mind just a number 2 or 3 kind of guy. I don't think you even need another number 1. Just have a few guys that can give you 5 to 6 innings. I'm not asking for a complete game. Usually a lot of baseball is not asking for a complete game anymore, but you need more than a few innings out of these guys. You need more than bullpen games out of them. Did you ever confirm if any of the chatters were the real Derek Papa yesterday?
Dude, I have no idea who the hell is what. I think this Derek. Well, I mean, he can't be the real Derek Papa right here because
Derek
he's going
Papa's
on Sports
right
Phone.
now.
Yeah, he's going on Sports Phone right now with Greg Silver. So I don't know if that's the real Derek Papa or not. There's so many of them. I think I know who the real one is. I think I figured it out, but I don't think it's that one.
I like the one from yesterday. That was what was it? Perik Dapa.
Yeah, Perik Dapa. Yeah, that was a good one.
That's
very clever. Very clever. No one's made the Derek Mama account yet. We got to make that happen. Yeah, Derek Mama.
Surprised.
That's what I have him as my contact in my phone. So everybody, if you see Derek Mama calling me, that is
You haven't
that's Derek
changed his
Pop.
contact to dirty work host?
No, I haven't changed it to dirty work host. Just dirty work, yeah. Which by the way, speaking of Derek, I'm gonna be hosting a 2.5 hour show with Derek on Christmas Eve. So
Ooh.
2 to 4:30, I think, is our time slot.
Nice. I'll be
on
tuning
Christmas
in.
Eve. Yeah, man. No, I appreciate you, man. Hey, come by the studio. I'll let you in. No one's gonna stop me.
I don't think I'm allowed still.
No, you can come. You can
I think
come.
my banishment is like what, 3 months or something.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, is that the real Derek now? I'm fashionably late. That sounds like something Derek would say. Got to let the newbie Greg Silver sweat a little. Wait, fashionably late for what? Where did you go? Oh, I know where you went. He went down to California Street. I know where he went.
Yeah.
Right, Derek? That's where he went.
Yeah, puff give.
Okay, Danny. I was trying to be discreet. for the guy. All right, Danny. Well, I will let you go, man. We'll definitely do this again. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I know I talked to you earlier and I was like, hey dude, come on the pod. It's a lot of fun. We're just talking ball, we're just bullshitting, and you were a little nervous. You were a little hesitant, but I think now you're good. You're good.
I always forget that
time.
I always forget that our talks end up going a little longer than anticipated, so I'll have to keep that in mind.
We always talk for hours. I mean, we've been talking for over 30 minutes.
Well, and we didn't even get to what we wanted to get to, the Christmas movies.
Well, I know. Well, I bring up the Christmas Eve. I bring up the Christmas Eve part because we'll be continuing to do this, and maybe I'll have you on the 23rd. Maybe I'll have you on that day before I take a 2-day vacation.
I get it. Another slow booking day. So who's coming on, old Dan?
No, man, you're welcome anytime. And Danny, stop calling me, okay? I gotta move on.
Sorry, bro. I need to know what you're eating tonight.
All right, dude. Well, Danny Dunn, everybody, give my guy Danny Dunn some love, 100%. He is part of the YouTube chat. He's always in there all the time, and he's a great dude. One of my best friends. So 100%. Danny, come on anytime. Just let me know. Just crash the party. You have the link. Just pop up. Just pop up whenever you want.
All right, will do. Thanks, Walt.
All right, Danny. All right. Well, that was Danny Dunn. That was a lot of fun. We went over the time. 7:07. Jesus. Where did the time go? We didn't even get into any of the trade conversation, but we'll do that. That's the beauty about doing your own show, and that's the beauty of doing it every day. So actually, I am going to I won't be live tomorrow, so I know everybody's sad, everybody's crying. I apologize. I won't be live, but I will have a pre-recorded show for you guys at 6:00. I have other obligations, but I will be back on Thursday, 6:00, live shows every day, Monday through Friday, 6:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Passion for the Pastime. So make sure to tell your friends, bring everybody. It's going to be a fun time, like you just saw there with me and Danny Dunn. I saw AJ Cruz was in here earlier. I don't know if he's still in the chat. But as far as emails won't work, because I know I did mention that send me an email and I'll get you on the chat. If you just want to talk on the phone, I am working on getting a phone line hooked up so that I can have you guys call in. The only thing is I won't be able to screen the call. So whoever calls, I am just going to say, hello, welcome to Passion for the Pastime. And then we go from there. That is what it's going to be. So it's going to be a fun time. And thank you all for stopping by. Mike Val, Rockin' New Era, Derek Papa, fashionably late to this podcast and fashionably late to his own show. AJ Cruz, Ernie Chavez, Wes was in here. Tacky was in here. All you guys, appreciate the love. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing it. And it's going to keep going until you guys get sick of me. But I love doing this. It's a lot of fun. So you guys have a good one. We will continue the conversation tomorrow. Again, tomorrow will be pre-recorded. Going to be talking about some trade packages when you look to the Giants as far as what they have to offer that can maybe entice some teams. What are potential pitchers that are out there if you want to even trade for pitchers? I'm strictly against that. But if you don't get in on Corbin Burnes and you don't want to get one of those lower tier guys like Sean Manaea and Max Scherzer or Justin Verlander, that they're in the twilight of their career. Where can the Giants go? There's a potential couple of trade candidates that have been floated around at the winter meeting. So we'll talk about that. We'll break it down and see what you guys would be willing to part with from the San Francisco Giants. If there's anyone that is not fair game, we'll get into that, and we'll definitely recap it and get more in depth on Thursday when we return for the live show at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Passion for the Pastime. Thank you guys. Remember to subscribe. Remember to share it with all your friends. Tell them that the party is just getting started on the YouTube page. Passion for the Pastime is going to be a good one, and I'll talk to you guys next time.